Let's talk about the market, the Bordeaux market. Well, China has been a very important country for consuming Bordeaux wines. In the past decade, there's been a very rapid rise of the export of Bordeaux wine to China. So, but this year, just very recently, this rise has been halted, as we've seen the figure of the export of Bordeaux wines has, went up a little bit. So, what do you think about the reasons behind this?
China is a great country, great in terms of population, but in terms of history and tradition. So when China arrived on the wine market, this country is so strong that that was too much. The beginning, was too much. And like a new market, many people thought that wine is easy to buy, to sell. No, wine is a culture. Wine is behind a bottle of wine. There is a story. And you cannot sell wine like that. And Chinese were many people in China thought that the market will go fast and fast and fast. No, the market needs a time. And now China is just coming in the second part of maturity. The first time was just beginning. Now we are on the mature market. And we can see this new generation of Chinese people who love wine. You can see it today.
So, in other words, the market has been more rational.
It's a bit crazy, like a new market. We have seen that.
But right now, it's been more rational.
Yeah, more rational. And today we have to pay a little bit this crazy time because there is too much wine on the market. But the consumption is good, and I'm sure that we double our sales in China in the last 5 years, and I'm sure that we will redouble our wine in China in the next 5 years, no doubt.
The craze of Chinese people toward the Bordeaux wines. A lot of rich people would invest on Bordeaux wines. Some would even buy several wineries or chateaus in Bordeaux. So how do you see about this phenomenon?
There is two phenomena. The first is to invest in wine. I don't like that. Wine is not done to be invested. Wine is done to be drunk. So these people buying 100 cases of first growth of Bordeaux to put in a cellar to resell it one day, I don't like it. Wine is not done for that. I'm very sorry to say that, but wine is not done for that. After the Chinese people coming on the Bordeaux market to buy property, it's a wonderful idea because when they invest in Bordeaux, they become ambassador of Bordeaux. And when they buy property in Bordeaux, that means that they want to sell their wine in China. And there is more Bordeaux arriving on this market. So twice they are ambassador. So these Chinese people become Bordelais. And I like this idea to become like we are, Bordeaux. And in Bordeaux, we have seen in all the story of Bordeaux for the last 10 century, people arriving from many parts of the world. So China is today, I'm very happy. My family, my mother's family, was coming from north of Germany in the 18th century. So Bordeaux, I've seen always people coming from very far away, coming to work or buy or invest in Bordeaux. No problem, I like it.
The e-commerce or buying wines online is more and more popular in China.
Yes.
Will this also help to promote the high-end Bordeaux wines?
E-commerce is working everywhere in the world. And on the wine, there is no reason that there is not success in China, as we can see in Europe or in the US. But e-commerce is not always better than traditional e-commerce because you have cost of shipping and the sell 3 bottles at 1,000 kilometers, that costs a lot. So I like e-commerce. I love e-commerce. In our family, we have a big business of e-commerce in Europe. So I can tell you that I love e-commerce. But in the same time, there is also the traditional commerce, which is also very good. And both are good.
Mm-hmm. So you see that's a prosperous market as well.
When the e-commerce is arriving on the market, that means that there is a maturity on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
How do you see the education in wines in China? Do people really know about the Bordeaux wines?
I can tell you that when we first came in Beijing in 1991 with the Union des Grands Crus, I was on that trip 22 years ago. The first tasting we have done here was quite funny. And people don't know so much about wine, and the knowledge of the people today in this room is quite incredible. Especially with this young generation. And these people, men or women, really like wine. And they will not ask you if there is any Chardonnay in your Grave region. They know that there is Sauvignon and Semillon. They will ask you how much Sauvignon you have in your wine, and how long your wine is aged in oak. So these people are really mature.
So we see a lot of people here today presenting the wine tasting. Does this wine tasting also open to the non-professionals, the winemakers?
This tasting is normally reserved to professionals. Is what we are doing all over the world. We organize 80 different tasting all over the world, and normally is only reserved to professionals. But this Chinese market is still a new market, and we have to support everybody, and we like to see some great amateur also. So normally there is 2 times. So the first time is more professional, and the second time is more open to real customer. But we know that with this market is growing, still growing, and even if we can see that the importation is going slower than last year, I promise you that the consumption is still going up, and we have to be here to develop it.
We hope so.